Renowned rock band Weezer brings their Voyage to the Blue Planet tour to Minneapolis Wednesday, September 4th at the XL Energy Center. Don't miss out as they play all of the hits, including the Blue Album in full with special guests The Flaming Lips and Dinosaur Jr. Tickets are on sale now, but caller number 13 is going to win your way in with a pair of tickets right now. Call 800-320-5326.
Thanks, Maxo. Hi, Marnsy.
Hey, hi, good morning.
Hi, Marns. Hi, Marns.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Happy 16th birthday to Gary yesterday. Unbelievable, man.
Gary!
16. You got a 16-year-old.
Yeah, we sweated it out for the driver's license test, not only passing it, obviously, but having it scheduled and not having it canceled with the Snowmageddon we were possibly going to have.
Right. Did it make him extra nervous that there were some treacherous conditions for his tests?
No, it made his mom extra nervous. We went down to the DMV. We left like 10, 15 minutes early so he could drive around a little bit and make sure he was super comfortable with the windshield wipers and where they were and how to turn them down and up with like speed and all that. Just which I would assume he knows, but I'm not always with him when he drives. Sometimes my husband,
Brian.
No, Matt.
It's Matt.
But he was cool. He was cool. He was confident. Then he came back and he was like, "That was so easy."
Okay.
All right.
Get over yourself, Care Bear.
I gotta ask, how was it teaching kids to drive? How did that experience go? Your oldest kid to drive.
You know, it's.
I don't know how much you want to share about that, but
no, it's just nerve-wracking because they're used to, for most part, any kids used to driving a go-kart, a bumper car, a
video game.
Not a video game.
Right.
Not a vehicle. We went to an apartment parking lot, like a huge one.
Right, yes.
And just let them get used to it. And there was a lot.
Right, yes, of course.
A lot of that.
There were roosters there?
Oh, brilliant.
Understanding how sensitive the gas and the brake are.
Automatic, stick, only? Automatic only?
Only automatic.
No stick.
Only automatic.
Okay.
No. I learned on a stick. I learned on a stick in Minot, and I mastered it.
I learned on an automatic, and my dad, we had one of each, and I needed to learn on both. So I started with the automatic, and then I tried to do a stick with my dad. I ended up loving driving stick. I drive stick. If I had my choice, we'd always have a stick car now. But it was just a disaster. It was a disaster when I tried to learn how to drive stick. Was your son really really wanted to learn how to drive? Because a lot of kids now don't.
Yes. No, he very much did. To the point,
I was surprised at how many of my daughter's friends were not that interested in learning to drive.
I think it is more common than people realize, and it's kind of one or the other. And my son's best friend has that exact thing. His birthday was in January, and he's still only taken one behind the wheel. He's just not there yet.
It's scary, man. It's scary learning how to drive. You've got to be driven to do it.
Yes, you do. And sometimes if you have enough friends around you who drive, you don't need the independence of, I don't want my parents to be driving me everywhere. If you're already hopping in the car with your friends, you kind of cross that up the list. But Grady stayed up until midnight the day that he was allowed to schedule his test so that he could get the time he wanted in the city he wanted. Like that's how driven he was at 12:01. He scheduled the test for his 16th birthday.
And was he super nervous yesterday?
Not really.
Okay.
He was a little nervous. He was super excited. Yeah, so it worked out well. Thanks for your well wishes. Mommy made a red velvet cake. It was delicious.
Did you bring any?
No,
thanks for sharing.
We ate it.
Nice of you to care.
Yeah, there's some left.
Man, do I love
we'll
cake.
have another two of them coming this weekend. So. It's a lot of cake.
Man, oh man,
Oh, cake. What's the best kind of cake, Hawk?
Birthday cake, but red velvet's a close second, man.
Yeah.
With the cream cheese frosting.
Oh, I like
You keep that.
What do you mean? You just eat the
I don't like
spongy part?
I don't like that cream cheese frosting. I want regular old frosting.
Okay.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying?
like a vanilla.
Yeah, like a vanilla.
Yeah, that works too.
Thank you.
We got a vanilla coming on Saturday, so I thought I'd mix it up.
Fantastic.
Sorry, Max. I'm sorry. My favorite cake is chocolate.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Ooh.
Sounds like it.
Let's do some
For real, though. Oh,
news.
how about angel food cake?
Sure. I'll take that.
It's underrated.
It is wonderful.
Man, one of my favorite things in the whole wide world was cakewalks.
I loved cakewalks as a kid.
And if you want a cake, you're like, you sons of bitches are giving me this cake. It's like winning the lottery for a fat kid.
Did you keep it in your room or the kitchen?
Huh?
Like when you
The
want
cake.
When you brought it home.
No, I would keep it in the kitchen. I had to share it.
Okay, yeah.
Well, you won it. So.
Yeah, I know, and it was hard work because you had to beat some people up. You had to fight. You got to fight for that cake. Fight for your right to eat cake. Am I right?
Talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Speak your truth.
You guys ready for some news?
Yes.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by the St. Paul Saints.
You think it ain't? Hey, Johnny Bones.
Yes, sir.
Did you know the St. Paul Saints opened their 2024 season against the Columbus Clippers? Of course,
Friday.
the AAA affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
With a weekend series starting on Friday, the 29th through the 31st at CHS Field. That's right, this Friday.
That is correct.
All right,
Well, the
maybe you knew
weekend's
that.
finally here.
Maybe you didn't know this. If you're one of the first 2,000 in attendance on Friday, you'll receive a Saints baby blue Saints hoodie.
Oh, very cool.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah, they've only got a 3-game series. Then they go on the road for 6 games. Don't get back until the 9th.
Thank you.
So, yeah, for sure. I mean, there is no baseball at Target Field this weekend.
No,
so,
there ain't.
and there is no baseball period.
And there's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying. There's no baseball period on Friday because the Twins play Thursday and then they have a day off on Friday. So Friday night would be a great time to go.
Hoping the weather is good Thursday.
Provided the weather is good.
It will be. And you know what? If it's not, if you missed that one, go Saturday, March 30th, and grab the Saints black and blue hoodie.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday are
Oh,
both.
that sounds
Saturday and
sharp.
Sunday are both day games, so you'll be there during the sunshine.
That's
a little
right.
bit warmer for you.
Check out saintsbaseball.com for all the information. Thank you, St. Paul Saints. We love you, and I'm glad that I finally did it right once.
Good for you, Hogs.
Thanks, buddy. I feel good about it.
Pretty sure the sunny side on Saint Stadium is the third base line. That's where you'll want to be if it's a little chilly.
Yeah, that is correct, sir.
Thanks, Paul.
Oh, thanks,
Come on,
Paul
the third base
Douglas.
That is.
That sounds like, that is me.
That did sound like you. I've been working on it.
It's pretty good.
Roll over, buddy. The Powerball jackpot is rolling over again.
Oh, wow.
There was no grand prize winner in Monday night's drawing, so the next time you can strike it rich with the Powerball, be Wednesday. An estimated $865 million up for
Oh,
grabs.
my God.
Meanwhile,
Only 2 winners, by the way, last night in the Powerball, even for like the million. One in Florida and one in New York. So
Wow.
No $1 million winners in Minnesota either,
right.
if you're wondering.
Meanwhile, the upcoming Mega Millions drawing has skyrocketed to over $1 billion. And that, my friends, I believe, is Mega Millions tonight.
I think so.
I think it is Tuesdays.
Yeah,
That
Mega
sounds
Millions is
right.
tonight, over $1 billion. We should. I used to do commercials for them. I don't know why I remember because I will say it. It's this truth. I've checked the stats. You can't win if you don't play.
Yeah, correct. You do say that all the time.
I say it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Thank you.
Are the tickets $2 a piece?
Yes, sir.
That's correct, sir.
And that for both of them?
Yep.
Okay.
And just you know what?
I'll set aside $4.
Yeah, I was gonna say just buy one, man. Just
Buy
take
one of each?
$2
Sure.
out of your filthy wallet
That's right.
and lay it down at the holiday, and you may be a billionaire.
Or hope you get one of those secondary prizes.
Oh, dear
Yeah,
God.
man.
That's a nice way to live.
Sure.
Yeah, good for you, Mars.
Yeah.
I hope you win what you want to win.
Thank you.
That's what I hope, buddy.
lot less stress.
You got
A
that.
lot less.
You got that.
And one more pool.
More winter weather is expected in Minnesota today. Yeah, if you win the lottery, you can get that fence. A winter storm warning
here
for
we
much
go.
of northeast Minnesota will remain in effect until 7 o'clock tonight.
Here we go.
A winter weather advisory is in place for most of the rest of Minnesota. Will expire this morning or later this afternoon. Forecasters say rain could turn to sleet or freezing rain for a brief period this morning before changing over to snow. Slippery road conditions and blowing snow could affect traffic in some areas during the morning and evening commute, so just stay home.
I mean, look at how gross it looks out there. Marty, you were just on the
I
roads.
can
It's
confirm.
gross.
Very gross. And the rain, as it hits your windshield, does have that pellet kind of
nice.
feel to it. But the roads, when I just drove in, the roads were still just wet. They had not frozen.
But if
the
that
temps are
happens, it's going to be a
dropping.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
What a weird storm.
There's nothing better than rain on the windows when you're sleeping and you wake up and you can hear it going tick, 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 tick.
Yes.
Correct.
It's kind of
the best.
freezing rain. Tick, 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 tick. And you're like, I want to stay here forever. I hope this is what it sounds like in my coffin, is what I think.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
And And then you go, zip.
No, I don't get aroused by my own death.
I meant the rain.
Oh, okay. All right.
What if you found out that it was just Paul Allen urinating on your coffee?
Oh, he's done that.
You know what? Let me think on that. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how that'd make me feel. All right. Good point. Thank you. Winter weather. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Would Paul be the first in line?
No, I don't think I would.
Well, I don't think he was. I don't even think he meant to do it. He just can't help it. He can't control that anymore.
I just wonder who would be first in line.
His urine comes out of him when it's ready.
Oh, what is happening?
It's true. He doesn't ask his permission anymore. Have you not talked to him?
Permission?
Ask him. Is he over there? He'll nod at you. He'll show you the evidence.
He will. Mid-segment
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah.
He'll walk over and very disappointed to go, look at this.
Yep.
Marnes, please don't derail me anymore.
Yeah.
Federal agents have raided 2 homes owned by hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, one in L.A. and the other on Miami's Star Island. Homeland Security is investigating reported allegations of sex trafficking, sex with minors, and that's possibly tied to 2 recent lawsuits. Diddy's been accused of rape in the past. One of his multiple accusers is former girlfriend and protege Cassie Ventura, whose attorney had this to say. I haven't listened to this yet, so I hope he doesn't cuss, but he's an attorney. I bet he's cool.
We can conclude that they had reason to believe that there were crimes involving sex trafficking, apparently, and that these areas potentially can give more information with respect to the specifics.
Yeah. Here's something even to make it even worse. At least 2 of Diddy's sons were detained outside his home in L.A. Diddy was reportedly spotted at Opa-locka Airport overnight. Don't know what that is or where it's at. Does anybody know where Opa-locka is?
It's by the Dells.
Why is he in Wisconsin?
It says Florida.
Oh.
Quick Google
Okay, so
search.
maybe he's coming back to the, maybe he's been, Yeah, you're right. It's an executive airport.
If he ever gets actually convicted of this, shouldn't the headline read, "Did he?" Yep.
Oh,
Did
you should work for the New York Post.
New York
That was
Post.
very good.
New York
Did he?
Post.
New York Post.
Did he
Post.
do it?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, even did he do it? I like too.
Yeah.
Marnie, that was a good one as well.
See, that's a yes
he
and.
do
She just
it?
did a yes and.
Sauce, you do one.
What if you just went, guilty? Like Puff Daddy. Guilty.
Oh,
I didn't catch the.
Question mark.
you see, you could have said puff guilty without making the sound. I'm trying to help you with a yes and.
Try a different one.
Maybe don't.
Hold
Are we on the phone?
on. I can't think of one.
Yes, and
Combs can't be guilty, can he?
How long is your newspaper?
It's a scroll.
So anyway, that's some of the news. Not all of it. Just some of it.
that's it's depressing.
Yeah, it is. It's
The bridge
it's
video
terrible.
is depressing. If you
Yeah,
haven't seen that on CNN, it's terrible.
I
haven't seen an
don't have
update
any
lately.
more updates on that.
Barnes,
either.
have you seen that story?
I've
know
seen
what?
the story. I did not see a bridge video.
The video is bad.
The video's terrible.
yeah,
Let me give you
Is
the
it
actually-
him on the bridge?
P. Diddy?
Yeah.
No, this is no.
At this point, it sounds like I'd be glad to see that video.
No.
Yeah.
So there's a video of a bridge in Baltimore collapsing.
Yeah, here's the actual news story.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about the
we're moving on from Diddy.
No, this is real. Check this out. Maryland is under a state of emergency after a major bridge collapse overnight. A container ship hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore a little before 1:30 a.m., sending the span plunging into the Patapsco River. Several people were on the bridge, and the search and rescue crews are on the scene conducting operations even as we speak. That's the exact same news story I read when we went on the air, so I don't have any updates to that yet. But the actual video of the bridge falling into the water is quite scary and incredible to watch.
Yep, it's not good.
It's not good. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a huge ship, and the bridge is gigantic, but it just crumbles like a Lego bridge, piece by piece. It's pretty bad. And again, we heard they were looking for upwards of 20 people earlier. I think Sauce, you said there was a CNN update that they had found 2. One was uninjured, one was in serious condition.
Yep.
That was the last I had seen about people that they actually had found from the water. Baltimore Fire Chief 57 minutes ago said sonar had detected the presence of vehicles submerged in the water.
You can see them go into the water.
Yep, that's not going to be good. Look, this is the day and age we're in. So an hour ago, according to the police chief, no indication of terrorism or intent, which it's never impossible, right?
Yeah, but
this
you know
looks like an accident, but you might as well come out.
Say that these days.
You do have to come out and at least say there's no indication so far that this was intentional.
This is a massive bridge.
Massive bridge.
It's a massive ship.
Yep.
That ran into it. Incredible. Any updates, I promise you we'll let you know, but I don't have anything more than that right now. As we do sports, when we come back, Saucy Saucer.
Yeah.
Did anybody hear what Shohei had to say yesterday?
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, Bonus is a really good take on it.
Oh, good.
We can break it down after this.
That'd be new, by the way. Thanks, John.
Bye.
The Fan.
Don't miss out when Breaking Benjamin and Daughtry rock the Mayo Clinic Health Systems Event Center in Mankato on April 9th. Head over to KFAN.com, keyword calendar to get your tickets today. But caller 11 right now will win your way in with a pair of tickets. Call 800-320-5326 right now.
Jump on those phones and get it done. All right, let's get right to sports because Johnny Bones is here. He's got some things to tell us about, and we are going to see him for a month and a half. So before the juice is loose,
it's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Hey, thanks, All Around.
Thank you, All Around.
Hey, John is loose. Yesterday, Bonus. Shohei Ohtani spoke for 12 minutes, and basically he said he's never been on sports, and he was shocked that his interpreter stole money from him. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, he wasn't originally, right? I mean, that was not the original story that was out there. The original story, which his spokesman said, was that he had paid his interpreter's gambling debts, which were $4.5 million.
Wow, that's impressive even for me.
And then they let the spokesman have a 90-minute interview with ESPN, and then then his lawyer came out and said, that's not what happened. He actually stole that money. And the reason he had to say that and clarify that is because there were two transactions that ESPN saw that had Shohei Ohtani's name associated with them for $500,000 each. Ooh. So $1 million of that $3.5 million directly came, at least that much, came directly from Shohei Ohtani's account. After that, he just, they apparently clarified or came out and said, no, that money was just stolen, that the interpreter had access to his computer, which, by the way, is certainly reasonable, and that because that interpreter does everything for Shohei Ohtani. They're very, very close, right? So, perhaps he jumped on and just started paying the stuff, and Ohtani did not notice the money was missing. Now, all of that is... I guess it's going to be a lot of he said, she said. It'll be interesting to see how much Mizuhara decides who's the interpreter, wants to fight these charges. The part that I find interesting is that the bookie was willing to give a $4.5 million loan to an interpreter that makes about $100,000 to $200,000 a year.
Correct.
That's not something that would normally happen.
You're
right?
Connecting those dots.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And that the interpreter, as reported by ESPN, let me read the exact thing, said a source said Bowyer, who's the bookie, was aware of the name on the wire transfers, but chose not to ask any questions as long as payment came in. However, the source said Bowyer allowed people to believe that Ohtani was a client in order to boost business. And that's one of the things as well. There's two issues here, right? The first is that it's illegal to bet in California, so there's a crime there to begin with, right? The probably huger concern from a money and that's a jail time issue, right? There's also, I guess, there's three issues. The third is whether or not he actually stole that money from Ohtani. That's also a jail time issue. The Major League Baseball issue is that you can bet on sports if you're a baseball player. You can't do it illegally, so that's a problem from a money standpoint. You can get a lengthy suspension for that. You can't bet on baseball at all. If you bet on baseball, it's lifetime ban time.
Not just your own games. You can't bet on any games.
Any baseball game. Yeah, yes, right. Not on any games. Well, that's, a $700 million issue then, right? If there's a lifetime suspension on this, given Ohtani's situation. Now, the feds raided that bookie back in October. They have all his computer records, they have his cell phone records, etc. That's where this all came from. It was from a wider investigation involving bookmaking in California. The story from everyone, Mizuhara and Ohtani and everyone, is that there was never any baseball betting involved with any of this, right? Now, Mizuhara also says he completely lost control of his ability to regulate his gambling. At one point, he went from $1 million to $4.5 million in a hurry as he tried to get himself deeper and deeper out of a hole. If Mizuhara was involved, it's hard, and he was that addicted to trying to get out of this bet.
Hi.
The one thing that one of the things that he does is he sits in on the meetings, the baseball meetings with Shohei Ohtani, and they talk about the pitching matchups and what's going on. He's got as much. It's hard to believe that he would not bet if he was that out of control on the one sport he actually had some inside knowledge on.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So in that scenario, let's say that's exactly what happened, right? He was listening in on stuff and he was making baseball bets.
Right.
How does that come back on Ohtani from an MLB perspective if they can prove that he wasn't a part of it, but the interpreter was betting on baseball?
I don't know exactly the depth of what this goes. If Ohtani truly was not involved in the betting, if he didn't know what was going on and he was just trying to help a friend get out of debt, right? And that the bookie decided to give $4.5 million loan to the interpreter because either the interpreter misled him about where that money was coming from, right? Or that, there's at least, I would think, some, and you're probably better off talking to Lawyer Lambert or some of this, there's some criminal problems there potentially that he was funding illegal gambling, right? And that there might be some issue with Major League Baseball or some sort of suspension, right? If they can't prove that it was Ohtani doing the betting. But, Occam's razor can apply, right?
What's that?
Occam's razor is the simplest answer is the answer, right? Well, why did Bowyer tell everybody that Ohtani was betting? Well, because Ohtani was betting. Right? Why did Ohtani pay these payments? Because it was Ohtani's money, right? Why did the guy give $4.5 million worth of loan? Well, that's easily answered as well, right? So, I'm not saying I have any inside information on this about Ohtani, right? What I'm saying is Occam's razor all points to one direction on this.
Should be a simpler word for Occam's razor.
Brilliant. Well, the best part about this whole bit bonus is a week ago, as I was on the side that you're on, but I had no evidence, and I just kept spouting, well, it has to be. It has to be.
I'm just telling you.
Trust me.
Well, why do you
And just so we're clear, I don't have any evidence either. What I'm saying
this is a version of doing the book report and actually reading the book like you did, or just winging it like I did. You're 100% correct, Bonus. This is weird. Yeah. This isn't nothing.
But, it'll be really interesting to see where Mizuhara stands in all this, because last I heard, when the newbie when this news broke,
oh my God,
ESPN asked him if he had a lawyer, and he was like, "No, I don't have a lawyer." Dude, get a lawyer. Maybe he's willing to fall on the sword. Maybe he's not willing to fall on the sword. He might not understand the time that is associated with stealing $4.5 million electronically from your client.
Right.
Hey, can we go back? You were saying how does the bookie just accept this guy's word, right? And if he doesn't know where the money's coming from, isn't that the whole point of regulating gambling? Is when it comes to bookies and bookmakers, there's a lot of lying. It's not like this guy's doing a full background check and going through all the proper channels. There aren't any proper channels. It's illegal.
Right.
So there's a lot of, no, I have this because of this, and you got to prove this. That's why people get shook down and beaten to death when they lie. So the whole, well, he must have known it was Ohtani's money. Not necessarily. If the guy says, I have X amount of dollars, I have access to this amount of money, I can get you this, and here's a wire, I'll prove it.
Yeah, but maybe if you're the bookie that's up $4.5 million, don't you want something?
But I'm saying when the wires start coming in and he starts paying off some of the losses,
maybe.
Why does he care where it's coming from? And he might have been lied to 30 different ways.
Here's the thing. It'll be interesting to see how this rolls because the feds have the records.
Right.
The Feds have the record. The Feds know how much money this bookie was putting on baseball, I'm guessing, right? They know how much he was texting people saying that Ohtani was or was not a client, right? They know they probably know what kind of text Mizuhara or what kind of communication he and Mizuhara were having and what Mizuhara was leading him to believe or what. Now, what we don't know is, to what extent they have records from Mizuhara or they have records from Shohei Ohtani. But the Feds raided this guy's house back in October. So, which, by the way, was before Ohtani signed any of this stuff, right? So, and now,
John, as someone who has worked in baseball closely for a number of years, what is your personal interpretation?
Achman's razor.
If you had to bet and be right, you're saying you think Ohtani knew. If you had to be right.
Yeah, bonus.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to be able to prove that, but I don't know. We'll see.
What is your interpretation?
Yeah, because listen, people know. Like, you don't do stuff like that without talking to your buddies about it a little bit.
It would just be so dumb.
Yeah, but
it would just be so.
That's why it's called an addiction.
Dumb.
Well said, Hawk.
That's where it comes down to.
An addiction, and you just never you think you have enough money to cover it up all the time. I would assume.
Here's what if I would have to guess. The first thing that came out is probably the goal. Here's what of the three scenarios, which is he stole the money from Ohtani, Ohtani covered the debts, Ohtani was the one gambling. Those are the three big scenarios I think on this thing, right? I would say the one I believe the least is that he stole the money from Ohtani. That he was wiring this money away from Ohtani, and Ohtani had no idea about it.
Because they are longtime friends.
Well, no, it's because that was not the first story.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. That first story was the second one, which was that Ohtani was covering his debts.
Which I think they realized that is also still a crime.
Yes.
So that doesn't make. I think they thought that was the better story to tell, and then they're like, "Wait, this is also a crime."
But here's the thing: like, his agents are lawyers, right? His agency is filled with lawyers. If they had to come up with a story, that's a weird story to come up with and really not recognize that that's a crime.
So it's a crime for Ohtani to cover a friend's debts?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or it's just a crime to be gambling illegally from the interpreter's standpoint. I mean, how is that? I'm asking a question. I'm not being.
And I'm not.
I don't understand how Ohtani would get in trouble for that.
I don't know how much of it is a crime, and I also don't know how much of it Major League Baseball would weigh a penalty against it. Right? There's two ways that could be bad. Right? The one is, it could be a crime. The second is, and that's close enough to gambling that Major League Baseball decides to make an example out of this.
Well, and it's the commissioner's discretion as far as I know. I don't think there's it's not like steroids where there's like a baseline. You have to be suspended X amount of time. I think the commissioner gets to decide, right?
Yeah, it could be.
This could be catastrophic, man.
This could be really bad.
This could be catastrophic.
Yeah.
That's why it was such big news. Earlier when the news broke and why there's been why Ohtani went absolutely dark talking about it. There was an absolute media blackout. I mean, not from the media side, but in terms of stonewalling the media up until this statement yesterday. It's a potentially huge deal.
I guess my life ain't exactly too bad.
That's
John,
exactly what I thought.
as we let you go, because Rosie's here, answer this in 10 seconds. What happens if this is the farthest the story ever goes, right? What happens to Ohtani's reputation if it's never pinned on him, but there's always this little bit of a cloud that it's a little bit shady, even if we just move on with our lives? What do you think happens?
Well, if the story sticks that this was all just Mizuhara stealing from him, I don't know if there's hardly any.
Do you think he's good?
I think there's no suspension whatsoever. So that's what's so fascinating about it, right? Is that it goes from 0 to unlimited, to just a complete ban. And we don't know which way he's going to. I will say this. I just have trouble believing that is the end of this story. There's too many things out there that we don't know about now. The Feds can play it real close to the vest for a long time. So.
Well, the weird thing, Johnny Bones, is obviously the best thing for baseball is for it to be the guy,
Right, yeah.
So is there a chance that they do everything they can to cover up the truth?
Yeah, well.
To save themselves. And does that make it a bigger scandal? And do we have a movie about this in 20 years?
And is there a Netflix documentary?
Especially because it's their best player. If it's player Z, nobody cares.
Yeah, that's not very good.
I mean, how about this? Like, what if the answer really is the original story, which was he was just covering the debts for a friend as a loan, which, by the way, was also on the transaction that says the word loan on there, right?
How's he going to pay that?
If that's the case, though, he's also off the hook.
I mean, maybe.
From a public perspective, forget about trouble.
Except that he's claiming and filing charges about the fact that now this guy stole from him.
Agreed.
But by trying to cover that piece up.
As long as he wasn't betting on baseball, though, I think he's going to get out of this okay. That's the key. If he's betting on other sports, who gives a rat's ass? I don't care.
Yeah,
if it turns out that Ohtani's betting on basketball, who cares?
I think Major League Baseball also wouldn't mind making some example out of people who bet illegally, because that's where things get shaky. If you're betting legally, you are less likely to be shaken.
Betting legal in California. What are they waiting for?
Because what baseball isn't worried about is that their players are going to lose money gambling. Right. What they're worried about is that their players are going to be compromised and end up having to do that. And that comes from illegal betting.
There's an NBA story about that. We'll talk about that later. Johnny Bones, you're the best, dude. TwinsDaily.com.
See you, kids.
Bye,
right. Mark Rosen joins after this. Power Trip Morning Show on The Fan.
The Fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in, brother. Mark Rosen's here. Hi, Roso.
Good morning.
Rosen's got some thoughts on Shohei Ohtani as well.
Well, I think right now?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Give her hell.
Well, I watched the entire news conference yesterday. I don't know, 16 minutes, whatever it may have been. And Ohtani, through his new interpreter, who I believe was Kenta Maeda's interpreter when he was with the Dodgers, a former Twin, didn't mince words. I mean, in his own way, he said, he's a liar. He's talking about his interpreter, former interpreter. He's a liar. I had no knowledge of any of this. He had access to my funds. I've never bet, never signaled for anyone. He did the whole 9 yards, basically, in his own way, saying, look, I have nothing to do with this. And, and no questions were allowed to be asked. It was, strictly, he would say, his spiel in Japanese, and then the interpreter would obviously interpret it, and then back to Ohtani, and back and forth, and as soon as they were done after 16. But it went longer than I thought it would. I just, we don't know 100% anything right now. I know that you'd be surprised how many people do have access to players' funds. I mean, it's not as shocking. That part of the story, whether it was for illegal gambling or investing in a car wash or whatever it was, there are agents, there are, people who have access to players' funds and who are close to them, lawyers and agents. So, and in this case, an interpreter who was with them for 6 years. I want to believe, the Pollyanna in me wants to believe that Ohtani had nothing to do with this. The way he said, I've never bet on anything. I've never bet on another sport. I've never used a bookmaker. None of that stuff. And that this guy did this arbitrarily. And, the investigation will, baseball, as you guys saw, as you said it. I mean, and all you guys have said it. This is the face of baseball. And baseball doesn't have many faces. They don't know how to market baseball players. They're the worst league in sports when it comes to marketing themselves. So now they got a shining star who's playing in one of the biggest markets, in the world, and this is embarrassing for them. And now they have to dig it out and get it done fast. But I want to believe that Ohtani had nothing to do with it. That this guy went rogue. He got himself in a huge hole, and he kept making it worse and worse and worse, as we know the gamblers do. When they get to that point, and that. Corey, you're talking about, like you said, as long as the bookmaker is getting his funds, what the hell does he care?
He doesn't care.
No, I mean, really, when it gets back to it, I forgot that California doesn't allow, doesn't have sports betting. The largest state next to it's like, what? I forgot about that. You can't bet on sports there. We're fighting tooth and nail here in Minnesota to finally get it done here after all the states around us have already authorized it. But I mean, baseball's got a lot on the line here. I mean, Pete Rose, I think I saw Pete Rose made a comment through someone saying, I wish I had an interpreter or something. I mean, the man got a lifetime ban. One of the greatest hitters in the history of the game. Bet on his own team. and got the lifetime ban. So, there's a lot at stake. I mean, do you want to believe him? It's up, all in the eye of the beholder right now. I can't, try to convince anyone. I don't know. I don't have any other facts. I mean, it's a story that just has to kind of just keep rolling along here until it comes to its conclusion. But it's still at its infancy a little bit for the most part.
Maybe baseball could market Shohei Ohtani by getting him a sweet DraftKings endorsement.
Well played.
Yeah, there you go.
But also, as a lot of us here are gamblers, the one thing that I think is interesting about him going all in, no pun intended, on the I don't gamble, I don't ever gamble, I've never gambled, I'm not into gambling.
Oh, good.
It's not like he's saying, hey, I'm an adult man. I like to dabble once in a while, but I've never really bet on sports.
Right.
He's just going, I'm anti-gambling. Mm-hmm. That's a lot harder to cover your tracks if you're lying, right? Because
correct.
There was a story over the weekend that I don't remember who said this, but somebody was saying that he's the kind of guy, he doesn't go into casinos when the other teammates do. He's just not a gambling guy.
Yeah.
So if he's going all in on the I don't gamble, there should be a lot of proof that he is or is not at some point.
Did you guys see that apropos still shot of the on-deck circle with Ohtani?
Yeah,
in the back of his jersey. Ohtani
and Mookie Betts was right
Ohtani
next Betts. Yeah. Can't make it up. I love that.
It was classic.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So, it's a fascinating story, especially when you have a guy that just signs this mega deal.
The timing.
And he literally is the face of baseball right now in so many ways. He's coming here.
Face of DraftKings.
I mean,
soon, right?
Ohtani's here April. I mean, if weather permitting, if the snow stops, the Dodgers are here April 8th.
Perfect timing for the best team with the best stars to show up in town.
8th, 9th, and
you are just
10th.
impossible to please.
Well, but it was that's for the Twins' sake and ticket sales.
I know.
That should be a weekend series in the middle of July.
Well, it's going to sneak up on us so fast because we got all this other stuff going on. We're still kind of in tournament. The NCAA tournament will be winding down. The Masters. We're still talking. We're talking NFL draft. The weather could be as sketchy as it is right now. It might be 55 and 60. We don't know. But you're right. The Dodgers will sort of sneak into town, and they play this series. Which still draw. I mean, they'll draw 35,000. I think at least for the Dodgers are here for one time a year. I mean,
yeah, man,
it's cool. So, Ohtani will be here. I'm sure people will hold up their signs. So,
especially if you're a bookie, I would just hold up my cell phone number.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Ranco Truck Accessories Pro.
That's right. The Falcons owner Arthur Blank said, "quote We obviously don't believe we tampered."
Oh, about the whole Cousins bit? Yeah. Well, Cousins said he talked to, the trainer?
Whoops.
So, I mean, that doesn't matter what Blank said.
Through his interpreter, though, I think he said.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Yeah, right.
KOC on Sam Darnold said, quote I think his best football is ahead of him.
Well, I mean.
He might be right, because
Darnold will start this
worse.
Year. I mean, I don't care who they draft. I mean, I'd be shocked if Sam Darnold doesn't start. I mean, I think he's going to get his best chance to see what he's. What was he, a third overall pick?
Yeah,
he's got talent around him. I mean, I don't know. Nothing's 100%, but I think he's going to have plenty of opportunity to prove that he's certainly an upgrade over what we had here last year. I mean, after Cousins got hurt. So yeah, I mean, it's Sam will have his chance.
Give her hell, Sam.
Go get him.
Go get him.
Yep.
We talked about it earlier, Rosie, but the DraftKings, no pun intended again, because we just talked about Ohtani, the DraftKings odds for J.J. McCarthy to go second are skyrocketing.
That's something.
25-1, now down to 5-1. So the steam on McCarthy is that people seem to really, 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 really like him.
Those are the odds. That they're usually right. However they want to interpret it. I'm not at the depths of sauce when it comes to looking at all these mock drafts and everything. I just literally saw one this morning, though, which had the Vikings eventually ending up with Kyler Murray from Arizona. Did you see that?
That's the latest ESPN one.
Yeah.
They have
what?
JJ going fourth to the Cardinals, and then the Vikings trading their 11th overall pick for Kyler Murray.
11th and what?
just the 11th overall pick.
And who's going to pay that salary of his?
The Vikings, I guess. Why would they would have kept Kirk?
I mean,
Kirk's better than Kyler. They would have kept Kirk.
Oh, for sure.
Kyler's making a ton of money.
Correct. They would have kept Kirk if that was their plan.
Yeah, and no, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's just people are running out of things to write about.
I love mock drafts, and there's like 3 or 4 of them that I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I look forward to it. Mel Kiper.
Sure. They're fun.
But like
Martin
when
Moischew.
Martin Moischew. Has he done one yet?
Did I miss his call?
He called on the spring.
Damn it.
He ripped you.
me?
Oh, yeah.
What did I do?
He wishes you were his prison cellmate.
That's what he said, yeah. Which apparently you guys know each other. I know it's weird.
So you guys go to some kind of meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Might want to blame your interpreter, Rosie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Point,
Thanks, Max.
Right. Anyway.
Okay.
Kyler Murray contract signed a 4-year, $35.6 million contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have signed Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know he's a lot younger, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
but I just, no. I mean, I read that. I went, okay, we've literally run out of things to write about.
Right. And to that point, Rosie, there are a lot of them where it's just clickbait.
Well, it is. And listening to Mark Wilf yesterday on with PA and others, and the interviews he's done, and they have a concrete plan that is, obviously subject to change because they're not in control of the situation. They can't control what Corey just mentioned. What the teams ahead of them are going to do with the selection of X quarterback, this quarterback, that quarterback. All they can do is put their best foot forward and say this is our best deal. To get Drake May or to get J.J. McCarthy or whomever they think is at the top of that list. But they definitely have a plan. Robert
Kraft spoke at the owners' meetings today, and he said,
"The juice is loose."
He wasn't there when the juice was there.
When I put my fan hat on, I would definitely be on board to draft a quarterback at 3. Yeah. On the other hand, a lot of people can be really desperate to move up. So we will be open.
Yeah, they have so many holes to fill.
Correct.
But
Button bar.
You're not supposed to say that. Sauce is supposed to say that.
No, but he wasn't on his game.
Why couldn't we have just lost that game?
Correct.
To the Vegas Raiders
6-overall pick
and move up a bunch of spots.
Is that what we have been?
Yes.
It was the worst game in the history of sports.
So bad.
And we gained nothing by winning it except for losing spots in the draft.
But remember at the time, it just seemed, the Vikings have to find a way to win this game.
Really? Hunter Renfrow fumbled that ball at like the 7-yard line. They punch it in for a touchdown. I don't think we can score one.
Yeah. The Vikings lost 6 of their last 7. Why couldn't it have been just 7 of their last 7? What a waste of time.
That ain't how it works, bro.
Lose.
Yeah, lose.
They should have lost every game. Thanks, Hulkster.
The sports world lost that day in Vegas.
Talk about
pop music.
Talk about throwing a game without throwing a game. I mean, that's we always talk about. The players don't want to lose. They don't want to lose, and yet here we are arguing about God. If we only were up, 2 more spots in the draft order,
or losing to Atlanta, that would have helped.
We'll remember that this year. Yeah. All right.
I think I had the wrong contract for Kyler Murray. I just want to correct this.
What did you say?
Because he signed a 5-year extension for $230.5 million.
That sounds more accurate because I know
46 annual.
Is it one of those things though? Nobody. I don't know. Where like the team would have to pay it, and we can do a deal with them where they would have to pay the bulk of it. No, nothing like that. Okay,
maybe, but they would never take that on. He's due $38 million this year.
So that's what you were saying, Mark.
32, 42, and then 36.
Only if she's 5'3".
Yeah.
And then there's an out for 2028 where he will make $46 million.
He's got a hell of an agent.
Yeah, he does.
He for sure has a pool.
Yeah, I bet he does on a fence, I bet.
Oh,
my God.
How much you want to bet?
All right, speaking of gambling, when we start Fan 5, you got to... This Raptor story is just so dumb. Do you think you don't know this one yet?
I'm not sure I do.
Yeah, it broke last night.
It's hilarious, not because of the situation, it's because of who it is.
Okay.
If I told you that the most bet prop on DraftKings was LeBron James over or under 26 points, right? You'd say that makes sense. It's LeBron James.
Right.
This guy from the Raptors, I've literally never heard of.
Right.
And the amount of money that was being bet on him is kind of funny. We'll talk about it when we get back.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll talk about it. I talked to Marnie, too, about the whole situation going on, what J.B. Bickerstaff was talking about the other night when Cleveland came to town and the betting situation. And I saw a fan get kicked out of that game, sitting behind Bickerstaff. I don't know what he said to him, but Bickerstaff turned around and he said something, one of the players did, and the guy went, "What did I do?" They ushered him right out of Target Center.
The juice is loose.
Yeah.
Gambling's the best. Power Trip Morning Show back after this on The Fan.
The Fan.